Lippman might show up because I want to talk about Journal Club a little bit. But
yeah.
Okay, so welcome. Thanks for joining today for another one of these brief Teams talks. Today we're going to talk about a function of our Clerkship collection that gives us access to a Journal Club feature and some clinical cases for study. As always, I'm going to record this, so this will be up on the research guide along with all the other recordings of these team sessions. So first off, like I normally do, I try to show where you can find what we'll be talking about today. So if you go to the Lucon library page, you'll see Clerkship collection is up here near the top of the list of databases. Also, if you open up the research guide, that's where we organize all of our electronic resources, and you'll see Clerkship collection is available here as well. It's also in the A to Z database list. There's alphabetical, so you can find Clerkship collection there as well. So this opens up the Clerkship collection, and if you work with third and fourth years, you're probably familiar with this because it generally deals with clinical rotations. And a lot of our required textbooks that are used for clinical rotations in third and fourth year are found here: family medicine, pediatrics, internal medicine, psychiatry, OBGYN, surgery. So I've shown, you may be familiar with some of the textbooks that are available here. But something I haven't really talked about before is this Journal Club feature that they have built into Clerkship collection. And I know Dr. Lippman has started a Journal Club here for students. I may actually, if he's not available to make it today or see the recording, I might let him know that we talked about this because it might be useful, I think, for what he's doing. But they have these modules built in that you can use to kind of guide a Journal Club. And it linked all of these modules linked to full text PDFs of articles. So you can actually have the article. I'll go ahead and, for example, click on this Model 1 pretest, Module 1. They link to the full text of the article so you can follow along with the module. But it introduces concepts of how to actually read a research article. It talks about this is, for example, is a pretest that you can go through, and you can actually take quizzes to identify different parts of that article. But you can also, what I wanted to point out too is underneath each of these, it'll say related to studying a study, testing a test, reading evidence-based health research. And this explains, because it's, some students might not be familiar with exactly how to approach reading a research article, a publication, what parts to focus on, how to interpret what they're reading. So there's actually a guide here that they can go through and learn how to actually study the study. It's a lot of saying the same word at the same time, but it's kind of cool. So we can look at observational studies, and it pulls up, this is on page 111 through 135. You can listen to this if you're eating lunch or something and you want to listen to the audio of it. And so it's just kind of a cool explanation of how to go through that particular part of the study. It's got, over here, we've got cohort studies, methods, assignments, review questions that are attached to this. And I don't know how this would tie into the Journal Club that's already been formed, but I think it could be good for kind of a guide for the Journal Club if they wanted to work on the articles that are here and using this as a guide. So there's, you can filter under Journal Club. There's everything. You can read the research, and that just pulls up the modules with abstracts. And I want to say this is links to the full text. I want to find the article. Yeah, okay, so this pulls up, there you go. So as you're going through the module, it'll show you the articles from New England Journal of Medicine, the authors Kang and Park and Lee, and this is early surgery of conservative care for asymptomatic aortic stenosis, and we can actually click on this to pull up the full text of the article to work along through the modules with the full text of the article. It's kind of slick that they have this built. And then of course it links to the studying the study. So you can actually go through here and look, it links all of the studying a study to each of these modules. Case control, RCT simulated, cohort simulated article. So this is kind of this built-in structure that we could actually use maybe along with our own Journal Club. So that's one thing I wanted to show. Another thing I wanted to talk about, the last thing, is that there are clinical cases. I've done some of these team sessions to talk about self-assessments that are available within Clerkship collection, and those are generally associated with the textbooks that we have available for the different specialties. There's self-assessments for each of those, but this is more of clinical cases that can be used, and it's really mostly PDFs, but a lot of them are very specific things. I mean, abnormal physical development of the leg, abnormal uterine bleeding, acute sloughing of the skin sounds pretty rough, but you can actually pull up PDFs of these clinical cases. It's got diagnosis, it's got follow-up, steps to diagnosis, differential diagnosis. So most of these are PDF, but it's got the whole clinical case to work through. I don't know if this could be used as for like a TBL or some kind of independent study for students, but these are pretty useful, and there's a ton of them. And what's really cool is that each of these clinical cases that's listed here is tied to a resource within the collection. So you can see abnormal physical leg development. We've got our daughter's leg is very bowed. There's a clinical case a student can study through, but it links to the Blueprints Pediatrics 6th edition that's available in the collection. This one, the one we just looked at, acute sloughing of the skin, is from Step Up to Medicine 4th edition, which is also available in this collection. So there's lots of tie over and cross connection between the resources we're looking at, like these clinical cases and even the journal club, to those resources that are available in this collection. So, and you can see there's a ton of here, and they actually break up the cases much like the textbooks are by specialty. So we have family medicine, internal, OBGYN, pediatrics, psychiatry, and surgery. So if we just want to look at like internal medicine, it'll just filter out all the clinical cases that are from those resources that have these in them. Here, Step Up to Medicine. Looks like most of these are Step Up to Medicine. There might be some more here. But that's just kind of a quick introduction to what's available here. I'm happy to show more of this if you guys have time. And again, I'll probably forward this to Dr. Littman. I know he's involved with the journal club because I really think that particular part might be useful for them. But these clinical cases are a pretty awesome resource as well.
Hey, Rob.
Yes, sir.
Those cases are just under cases, is that right?
Yes, they're under, when you go to the Clerkship collection, if you click on the link, like from the LUCOM library page and to pull up Clerkship collection, you can actually get to them a couple different ways. So like if we go to like internal medicine, you'll see that they have cases here as well. And I've shown that before, but it also links to the journal club. But if you want to get directly to the cases, you can just click on this in the menu bar up here, and that pulls up clinical cases, and the journal club is here. So.
Okay, yeah, because I was looking at that, looks pretty good. Even I'm thinking for next year, like, in the ORD course, we have dermatology.
Sure.
And it might be worth to assign a case or two, like the one on Stevens Johnson's or something, which would be
sure.
Kind of a cool case, I think.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining today. I'm going to go ahead and, oh, sure. Hey, Dr. Pettit.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hey, so I was just asking, so I've actually resurrected the journal club for 1st and 2nd year students now.
Okay, sure.
We alternate between the family medicine club and the internal medicine club.
Sure.
And so is there a way that you can send me a direct link to the how to study a study?
Absolutely.
And then I can share that with the students who've signed up to do journal club. I think that's a good introduction for all the students that have signed up for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send that to you.
Great.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I hope you all have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Critically.